Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to rslash idontworkherelady, where Karen tries to get me fired and lands in jail with her kid. So this happened a couple of years ago, and the school staff and police stationed at the school still have a good laugh about it with me every now and then. This story could fit in another sub, but I felt like this one was the best. Now I work for the state justice system in a diversion program for juveniles. Part of my job requires me to ensure the youth are going to school and not getting into further trouble. So I tend to be at certain schools a lot due to some of the areas I cover being rural counties with normally only one main high school. Often I just meet with the family and youth at the school for convenience for different reasons while being supervised by me. Normal parents of well-behaved kids have often mistaken me for staff, and I found it easier just to direct them to the staff they needed. At this point, I never really had a Karen run-in, at least in this situation. In some rural areas, the alternative school is still on the main school campus, but has its own small building where the students are basically in a jail-type school. They cannot leave without a staff escort beyond that building. They have their own bus, separate lunch, and cannot be on campus after student school hours for any reason or participate in school events of any kind, or they face being arrested for trespassing. Now students can find themselves in here for many reasons, and the school will send students to the alternative program for 45 days as an alternative to out-of-school suspensions. Then there are students who are there permanently till they graduate for one reason or another. And finally, students who get felony charges in the community are placed here as well due to school board policy, though may or may not be a permanent placement. During one of my visits while in the alternative class, a fight broke out. Not being school staff, I'm not authorized to intervene unless I'm directly threatened. So in the CCTV footage of the classroom, you can see me standing there calmly, twice taking a step back to avoid being caught in the scuffle and looking completely unfazed. Now, to the untrained eye, this is how it appears. But the officer who reviewed the footage even noticed that really I was standing in a defensive tactical position, mainly because this kid was going crazy and was just swinging wildly at anyone that came close to him to help the kid he was attacking, and did strike the teacher trying to put a stop to the fight. So once the situation was under control, the school and school police officers go through the motions required, and of course parents are called. While I start my own reporting requirements from my job and work with the police doing statements, etc. In comes Karen, the mother of the student Hulk who just rampaged a fellow classmate and was now detained in the back of police car awaiting EMS to clear him before being transported to jail. Karen demanded to see the footage because she felt her child was being targeted by staff and police and that he was not really the instigator but the victim. While watching and seeing that this was not the case, she changed tactics and decided to target me by blaming the situation escalating the way it did because I did not step in before or during the incident to stop it. Now, as a side note, I had my work cell in my possession and was responding to a parent that was running late to see me, and I was in the classroom to escort one of my youth to the meeting room as not to take school staff away for other needs on campus. Plus it's just faster if I go get them as I have clearance to do so. This Karen incident occurred in the dean's office, which is where I already was and was asked to stay for one reason or another by the dean and officer when she came in to watch the footage. Altogether, this whole interaction after watching the footage was not even 5 minutes. Cast as K, Karen, M for me, D for school dean, O for school resource officer. Karen suddenly turns her head around at me in a quick exorcist-style head turn and begins rudely yelling at me. K: "Why you just standing there not doing your job?" Me: excuse me?" Karen cut me off. I was honestly caught off guard by her that I did not really process what she said. K: "You're just calmly standing there the whole time and didn't do anything to stop the fight. Why were you even on your phone?"
If you were paying attention, this whole fight probably would not have happened. I want you fired for neglecting your job and not protecting my child.
Me? Ma'am, I don't work for the school. Karen?
Yes you do, and you need to be fired. I'm going to report you to the school board.
D? She really isn't school staff. Karen quickly responds before Dean could even explain.
Then why was she even in the classroom? Only school staff and police officers can be in there.
Oh. Listen, she's like me, and Karen cuts him off. And yes, she was crazy enough to cut off a uniformed police officer mid-sentence. K?
That's a lie. I've seen her here all the time working, and she's obviously not a police officer, so she's school staff.
Now directing her rant at me again.
You should be fired for laziness and causing this fight.
Yes, somehow her child going Hulk smash on a fellow classmate and destroying school property in the process was now all my fault. While my brain was processing the stupidity that was being uttered at me in the volume and pitch of what sounded like a velociraptor scream, the dean and officer tried to calm down and redirect this crazy Karen, saying many more times that I was not school staff and trying to explain my role was similar to the police officer in that I'm not employed by the school, but I do work at the school under the justice system and courts. I tried to tell her as well again that I did not work for the school and that I was not allowed to intervene in this situation. Karen was having none of it, and at that point it was like talking to a brick wall in human form. There was a lot of back and forth conversations / velociraptor screams going on that the police officer came to see what was going on and ensure everyone, mainly his partner, was safe. And that's when it happened.
She works here and should be fired. That is all your fault that my son is being arrested.
With this last proclamation, Karen picks the candy jar that was on the dean's desk and throws it at me. Now luckily, I have fast reactions, but in the process of protecting my face with my hand/arm, the jar broke and cut me significantly. At least it was not my face that got injured. It's weird how crazy people have that uncanny aim when throwing things in anger to hit the face/head. I have never been so smug watching police tackle a crazy person to the ground and handcuff them. Even though I don't work for the school, I am a state employee just like school staff, and battery on a state employee where I live is a felony crime. Karen's screams at this point became just a bunch of nonsense mixed with cursing. To paraphrase it up,
she should be the one getting arrested and fired. This is all her fault. She works here.
So Karen was loaded into the other police car and off she went with Hulk to jail for booking. In anticipation of a few questions readers might have. 1. Yes, I pressed charges and Karen spent some quality time in prison among other court requirements. Hulk ended up being placed with family in another county I worked, and I got the pleasure of supervising him. Hulk was actually a pretty decent kid. He just had a very bad day, and the kid he attacked was part of a gang that had been harassing him, and he just finally snapped. Hence me calling him Hulk in this story. He was successful and joined the armed forces and is still doing well in life and staying out of legal trouble at least. Second, my cuts healed and left minimal scarring. Third, I wasn't just smug. I had Scarlett O'Hara level resting beef-face smile as they escorted her away and again at her court hearing. But you know, stories like these make you wonder where the Hulk son learned this behavior. Probably at home. And don't you just find it absolutely satisfying when a Karen like this one gets arrested? Especially if it's not only an arrest, but a felony arrest. Karen really played herself this time. And either way guys, if you enjoyed the video, please post some stars in the comments or leave a like on the video to get it recommended. I would really appreciate it. And by the way, if you were wondering why the videos lately have been a little bit shorter, that is because at the moment I am in Thailand and it's not exactly easy to make these videos at the moment. So please bear with me and excuse me that the video quality as well as the length of the video might vary from time to time. So I hope you have a great day and I see you tomorrow for a new video.